let's get started.
Can we make that orange?
Great, there we go.
Okay, what do you think, Steve? Steve?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and privilege for me to welcome Golok Kumar Simli, Chief Technology Officer, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, for his special address titled Redefine and Reengage Your Workload, Workforce and Workspace to the New Digital Culture for a Unique Competitive Advantage. I'm looking forward to this session, and I'm sure you are too. Mr. Golok Kumar Simli, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Yuan. Let me at the outset thanks Economic Times, the entire team, Harsita, Mr. Yuan, for bringing me here. Now, quickly coming back to the topic, let me start with saying that we are really passing through a journey, which is a change digital journey. I typically say a change scenario in terms of digital adoption, in terms of a digital kind of a know-how across the organization. And when I say across the organization, why only to the government and public sector, but even the private sector, academia, research, and every one of us. Now, today's topic will be bringing out 2-3 key highlights in terms of this change culture, in terms of the new digital adoption, in terms of the new journey what we all are witnessing, as I rightly said. The first and foremost thing comes to my mind is the workload. How do you measure your workload? How do you understand your workload well? So that we can deal such scenarios, such is the one like COVID-19 pandemic and exigency we are witnessing for, where what we are experiencing, organization at large, is the corporate data centers, the corporate applications, the corporate network, they have more or less gone into a kind of a remote kind of environment, WFH kind of environment. And when it comes to workload, it has gone into a hybrid era. Now, let me take 15-20 odd seconds here. What do I exactly mean by a hybrid era? Meaning to say that some of our workload, which are critical, which are sensitive in nature, especially in the government parlance, we are still dealing with those kind of a workload on premises. However, some of the routine workload, for an example, I can straight away dealing with, let's say, the social media, or dealing with this kind of a unstructured data sets. We are slowly moving towards a kind of a cloud kind of an environment where the kind of a ready available space, the agility, the on-demand kind of a requirement, no, you don't have to worry for. But one very important thing one has to kind of a take care, one has to take note of is, when you are moving your workload into this kind of a hybrid scenario, understand your workload well, categorize your workload well. I always say that you must understand your data sets and data points well. And when I say that data sets and data points, what kind of workload is it? Is it a fiduciary data? Is it a sensitive data? Is it a configurable data? Is it a public data? And especially when you are migrating into a cloud kind of environment, though cloud is not a issue, but the issue is the compliances, the regulations, the land of the law, and the kind of visibility what you could establish when you are migrating this kind of a workload into cloud kind of a platform vis-a-vis, let's say, your on-premises kind of a platform. So that is one of the area I think every one of us is passing by. Every one of us has to kind of redefine, re-engage our entire strategy in terms of dealing with the data, in terms of dealing with the security, in terms of the dealing with the privacy concerns. So that is one of the major factors. The second factor, the second immediate point comes to my mind is after you have segregated your workload well, after you have classified your data well, after you have probably kind of a understood your data sets well, data points well in terms of sovereignty, in terms of non-sovereignty. The second major factor is how do you deal with your workforce. And when it comes to workforce, again, these are the learnings which says that, especially after COVID-19, the workforce, kind of entire workforce, entire organizational culture, I think one has to completely, kind of redefine it, re-engage them, reskill them, skill them wherever it is required. For let me give another example here. When we are migrating some of our workload into the cloud, I personally realized that some of my workforce, especially when they were dealing with WFH and remote kind of environment or over the internet, they were not so comfortable vis-a-vis they were earlier dealing, let's say, in a on-premises kind of a workload. So how do you bring in that culture? How do you bring in that kind of a digital adoption and digital ethics when you are really dealing with this kind of a hybrid and no kind of a dual kind of an environment where some of your workload is remaining on premises, some of your workload is moving towards cloud kind of an environment. And when it comes to the workforce, the another important fact one has to kind of a always keep in mind saying that it's not one time exercise, and probably passport seva kind of a program or any of such programs which are huge success. Why only passport, whether it is GST and income tax or these big programs which are the huge success. The idea is the training, skilling, capacity building has to be part and parcel of your entire ecosystem. The problem we do and the problem we'll end up is this training, capacity building, skilling, reskilling, engaging, re-engaging. Those have been taken and dealt in silos. So it must not be. It should be part of the design. It should be part of your ecosystem, and it should be always and all time to come. So that is another learning, which we are doing, in fact, in the Passport Seva program, and which I suggest every one of us, every government organization has to take care of. The third very important area when you are dealing with such workforce, what is your business model? How is that those training, capacity building, can become part and parcel of the program? And there I think the business model comes very handy. And for an example, in Passport Seva program, the business model which we have adopted is a PPP business model where your training, the cost and investment towards training, skilling, reskilling, it's all time to come. It is taken care by that business model what we have innovated, and in our case it is a PPP business model. The second beauty of this kind of a business model is you as a government or someone from the department, they are taking care of, let's say, policy issues, regulation issues, compliance issues, strategic control issues. However, your technology partner or PPP partner will be dealing with the technology side of it, trading side of it, operation side of it, and the ultimate aim is to the services, the outcome which you are looking for. And the beauty of this kind of a business model is it is not only the outcome, it is not only the services for all time to come, it is assured and ensured for the citizens and masses at large, but also the quality of services, the quality of dealing with the people, the quality of engaging the masses at large, that become successful over a time. So that is another very important area. I think this is high time that we as a government, we as a public sector We have to innovate business model where I think the work which we are expert in, the work which we have to take care, that is the work we should take care. The other part of the work, I think our industry partners are on a better way to manage them, maintain them, refresh them, kind of reorganize them, organize them. So gel in both. I mean, work together, innovate a business model, and then you go forward. The third thing, I spoke about the workload. I spoke about the workforce. Then the other two W's, which is another very important, is the workspace and the workflow. Now, when it comes to the workspace, as I rightly said, soon after the COVID-19, we realized this most of our workspace, no, it has not, it has gone kind of a remote kind of a scenario. No more it is a kind of a 9 to, let's say, 5:30 office environment. Rather, it has gone into kind of a anytime, anywhere, any device kind of a scenario. Now, if that kind of a scenario you are actually learning up, how do you deal with the security and other concerns, privacy and other concerns? And there, I think it is important to note that when you are actually dealing with anytime, anywhere, any device kind of a scenario, the another important fact one is to keep in mind that the security, the privacy, most of the time we do a mistake saying that we take as a audit action, we take as a post facto action, which must not be. Our learning says that the security, the privacy concerns, they has to be, no, they have to be part of the design. They have to be part of your solution. They have to be intrinsic at each layer of your digital ecosystem, whether it is a application layer, or whether it is a database layer, or whether it is a OS layer, or whether it is a network layer, or whether it is a perimeter layer. So can you build a intrinsic way of dealing with the security and privacy concerns when it comes to dealing with citizens' data, when it comes to dealing with your enterprise data, your organizational data at large? So that is another area, I think, when we are dealing with the workspace per se, and especially after COVID-19. The last W, which is again very important for me, is the workflow, the application. Now, another learning which we are carrying is, when it comes to applications, there is a time where we are dealing with this kind of emerging technology, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is machine learning, whether it is deep learning, whether so if you are one side approaching towards this kind of a advanced and emerging technology, is that the application which you have written, is that the enterprise software which you have written, how is that software behaving when it comes to dealing with these kind of advanced and emerging technology? For an example, let's say in our case, the passport seva program is part of my enterprise application. What we have taken a approach when we are advancing towards this emerging technology, adapting this advanced technology, we have taken a no kind virtualized, I'll say, it's a microservice based architecture which allow me to kind of a segregate, separate, deal with independently to each stakeholder. And at any point of time, I can do real-time maintenance of the application, real-time enhancement of the business requirement. And that is the beauty. So the idea is, when you are dealing with this kind of application software, you have to ensure that you have to move along with the technology, along with the time. The problem we do that your legacy, your application remains as it is, and then you try to adapt emerging and advanced technology. The last thing I think I must touch upon before I and Ivan saying that the digital journey, the digital adoption, end to end, if I see, it has to be looked holistically. It can't be dealt with silos in any case. And when you say it has to be dealt holistically, it includes your not only the digital platform, it also includes your workforce, it also includes your workload. And apart from this, ultimate aim is to deal with your customer and beneficiaries. So when you are actually dealing with your customer and beneficiaries, how do you actually making your data information not only visible and realistic for you, but also for your users, citizen and masses at large. So that's how I end it, Ivan, and that's how no probably one has to deal with the entire digital adoption and digital journey, which probably as part of Passport Seva, I am doing that. So thank you, Mr. Ivan.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Shri Golok Kumar Simli, Chief Technology Officer, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, with his insights on redefine and re-engage your workload, workforce, and workspace to the new digital culture for a unique competitive advantage. Thank you so much for your crisp address, sir, and we wish you and the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, the very best going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Ivan. Pleasure.
My pleasure. Do stay tuned in, ladies and gentlemen. We will now come up with the leaders' dialogue on the other side in a couple of minutes.